everyone! Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Rose. I'm a med student who enjoys creating content for YouTube, and also I have my DIY travels in the past, so you can check that out if you want. For today, I will be telling you the most difficult and the most interesting topics that we encountered in first year medical school here in the Philippines. So I'll be talking about the most difficult topics first, and then we'll move on to the most interesting ones. Do take note that these are my personal preferences. Not all of my batchmates agree with me. Baka iba rin yung listahan nila. Take everything as a grain of salt and sariling opinion ka lang. The first difficult topic that I encountered is respiratory physiology. Maybe because at that time, it was the first system that we studied and we didn't have gross anatomy of the respiratory system. It was hard for me to imagine the process of respiration because I didn't have an image of the tracheobronchial tree, which apparently is very important kasi ang dami palang segments nun. Now I know. Tapos magkaiba pala yung right and left lung, and then meron pa yung gas exchange sa alveoli. Respiratory physiology would have been more fun for me if the gross anatomy came first. I could have appreciated it more. Lalo na pag may mga pneumothorax, exercising, or rising from different altitudes. So, after respiratory physiology, the second one I had difficulty understanding is hematopoiesis, which is basically hema. Nakakatakot pag may hema na ako in the future. Itong moment na to, wish ako ng wish na, Lord, bakit hindi ako medtech? Siguro pag medtech ako, it would have been easier for me. At ang instance lang na nakapag-microscope ako during undergrad was during zoology. At first, it was really difficult for me to differentiate one circle from a different circle. Everything were just either pink or purple. Pero eventually, as you get exposed to it more and more, mas napapansin mo na may distinction yung different cells. If you're having difficulty sa mga ganitong bagay, expose mo na expose sarili mo and masasanay ka rin. Builds up naman eh. Your knowledge builds up in medicine. So for the third, sobra akong nagulat nito kasi I wasn't expecting this to be hard. Pre-med. Kasi ang iniisip kong mas mahirap is cardio. Apparently, may system na mas mahirap intindihan, which is renal. But in my list, third siya kasi may mga mas mahirap pa sa akin. Talagang nilevel ko naman sila kung deserve ba niya talagang pinakamahirap siya or hindi. Pero kasi
natuwa ako sa renal physio.
I think factor din yung meron kaming observership under Dr. Nepomuceno during our renal modules. Sobra akong naswertehan doon kasi if you guys don't know Dr. Nepomuceno from the UERM hospital, he's a nephrologist. Tama ba? He's a nephrologist. During our observership, nakita kong hands-on siya sa patient niya and talagang memorize niya yung creatinine levels ng mga individual patients niya. Meron akong surface level idea of what nephros do, and because of that, para akong na-amaze. Tapos, dahil nga akala ko, at that time, akala ko ako lang talaga nahihirapan sa renal physio. Doon ko na-discover yung iba-ibang references. Doon ako nag-start mag-boron, Vanders. Doon ko nalaman na ang daldal at minsan pang mas matalino si Guyton compared kay Byrne. Si Byrne parang pahapyaw lang na mapapagano ka lang, parang okay! Pero pag si Guyton na yung nagsulat, parang okay!
Ang saya rin na facial.
Pero yun, third difficult topic ko siya kasi hanggang ngayon, yun yung topic na wala kang 100% understanding. Parang hanggang dito lang yung understanding mo at kailangan makontento ka na doon kasi probably hindi ko ma-achieve yung 100%. Okay! So the fourth topic that was difficult for me to understand and grasp is the anatomy of the pelvis and the perineum. Hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa rin maintindihan. feeling ko kailangan ko lang titigan yung pelvic bone eh. Tapos ito yung diagonal, ano yun? See, I forgot about it na. Labor, contractions, the measurement, the planes. Hindi ko talaga ma-visualize. Yan. And the fifth, the last.
The pinaka.
After 6 LEs, after 1 year in medical school, hirap pa rin ako i-grasp is translation in biochemistry. I tried watching videos, pero yung videos kasi masyadong simple, na para bang, oh, okay, I get it. Babasa ka. Tapos may mga EIF, may mga kung ano-ano pang ano dyan. Tapos ang daming acronyms, so parang, saan to galing? Ano to? Ano yan? ABCD? Okay, I get it. Hindi ko na alam yung alphabets ko, iba. Grabe. Nahirapan talaga ako sa translation. At exam ko yun sa Wednesday. So, wish me luck. Tapos na tayo dun sa mga madugo, sa mga mahihirap na topics. Let's move on to the best and most interesting topics for me in my first year in medical school. So the first on my list is the anatomy and physiology of the GI system. Dito talaga ako na-surprise na, in fairness, may interest pala ako sa GI kasi parang, okay, food goes into the mouth, absorb, acid, ganyan-ganyan, ang dami nangyayari. Natuwa talaga ako, lalo na nung sa anatomy lab. Yung gross talaga nung GI, doon ako napauwaw sa human body. Yung mga interesting topics na ito, magugulat kayo na may interest pala ako ha. So the next topic is the cholesterol and lipoprotein metabolism in biochemistry. Sa totoo lang, if carbs, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. Sa lipids ako nag-enjoy talaga. Itong so, parang cloud. Kasi I imagine the micro nasa cloud. So, itong cloud na to, kukunin niya to isa, tapos transport niya sa ganito, ganyan. Super fun for me. Habang inaaral ko yung cholesterol and lipoprotein metabolism, para akong on an adventure. Tinitrace ko yung adventure nila kung saan sila nanggaling. So, masaya siya sa akin. Following that is the clinical correlations of the embryology of respi and cardio system. Pag nagtanong ka kasi ng med student, unang isipin nila, I wanna be a cardio or a neurosurgeon, ganyan. Yun ang napapansin kong madalas na sagot ng mga tao. So, nung time na ito, parang lahat kami gusto namin maging cardio. Specifically, pediatric cardiologist kasi nung time na to, yung transposition of the great arteries, triangle of Calot, or something. Yun. Basta yung mga ganon. Amazed talaga kami sa power ng heart at the importance of its embryology. So, following that is our ECG plenary with Dr. Kakas. So, because this plenary came after our electrophysiology of the heart lecture, mas na-appreciate namin yung electrical properties ng heart. At that time, wala pa kaming alam sa cardio kasi bago pa nga lang. Dr. Kakas gave us ECG tracings each group. And after a weekend, we were asked to present the findings of the tracing. Mas na-reinforce yung learning when we realized na, oh, these are the kind of tools, these are the kinds of materials that we will need to interpret later on in our careers, if we ever choose to follow that path. And lastly, the most interesting topic for me, nasabi ko na siya earlier, is renal physio. Dito talaga ako natuwa. Ano siya, the fact that it's so complicated makes it so interesting to understand. Like, ang dami pang pwedeng i-google na oras para aralin yung renal physiology. I hope you enjoyed, and if you like this kind of vlogs, let me know. Alam niyo naman, nilalangaw yung comment section ko. So, I really appreciate it when you take time to leave a comment. Natutuwa talaga ako kapag nagbibigay kayo ng comment. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you! Tapos na tayo. Banking. Parang feeling ko kailangan ko lang titigan yung pelvic bone. Pelvic bone.